Kerri-Ann, and today I am here with some brand new products via CraftStash. So this is a range by CraftiPotential and they're available now on the CraftStash website. There's some gorgeous designs, so I thought I would share with you the ones that I've been sent. This is the die set. Now these are a really good quality sturdy die set and they're really useful. So you've got the stitch effect here. On this size and this size here, you've got hello, and then you've got these wonderful stars and bubble effects. Now I have got this one here to show you that the stars, they cut out so you can use them individually, but you can use that obviously within your card. The great thing is also you can use it as a stencil, so I found that die set really handy, and that comes in a nice little storage pocket as well. So that's the die set. You've obviously got the splat, so you've got other things in there as well. And then you've got these two, as you can see, mine are very well used, stamp sets. So this one here is the Alien Invasion A5 stamp set. So there's lots of lovely good size stamps in there. And this one here is the Pawfect Pets A5 stamp set. So you've obviously got Dino, you've got a pony that you can turn into a unicorn, lots of lovely different characters in there, but as you can see mine are a little dirty, so I will show you some that I have stamped out. So as you can see, I've been really busy. I've really enjoyed working with these, so I have stamped quite a lot out to share with you. These, what I've done is I've just been stamping them out of an evening and then cutting them out and then putting them in this basket. So some I've coloured, so this one here I've coloured with watercolours. And they're just then ready for me to turn into projects when I'm ready. So there's the pony, and I've done little red alien. My little boy's done a glittery bat, because these are fantastic to work with children. And then we've got a spotty alien here. The children will absolutely love these. They're great for making cards with children, but also for making cards for children and grown-ups. If they're into this sort of characters, these will be fantastic. And here's some more of the aliens, and this is what I want to show you that I'm going to do a project with today. So I'm going to take these two from my little stash. These are the spaceship and rocket is what I would call them. So I've pre-cut them out. What I'm going to do is just show you how I do a very basic colouring with them using watercolour pens. So this is where we are going to end up. We're actually going to do a slider card. Now you can do these with weights so that they then move on themselves, but the way I've decided to do it is with the movement that the child or the person receiving will do it themselves. So you can move it all around. So we're going to end up with a card just like that. Now the cut that I've done around the outside here obviously is using the die set from CraftiPotential, so you've got that lovely stitch effect even on glitter card. And the slider is actually from Papercraft Essentials issue 157, I think it was, and you get the slider in it for you so that then you can do the slider techniques. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a couple of my Nouveau pens, which are watercolour pens. And I am going to do some really basic watercolouring. Now, if watercolouring isn't your thing, obviously these are fantastic to also colour with your alcohol pens, pencils. You can colour them, you know, depending on what card you've put them on, you can colour them with most things. I've just used really basic white card. I haven't used watercolour card or anything special. So for me, this is just a really basic way of colouring onto plain white card. So first of all, I'm going straight in with the red because I want a really vibrant areas here on the rocket. So I'm going straight in with the pigment from the Watercolour Aqua Nouveau pen, and you can see just how strong the colour comes through. So it's a lovely brush pen, and I'm just being really gentle, taking my time, and you can see there the strength, the beautiful strength of that red. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to scribble out some of the blue, because what I want to do next is I want to do a lighter shading effect on the blue. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to carefully hold with one finger there. I'm going to push down on this watercolour pen. So this is a Nouveau watercolour pen. I've just pressed down so that I've got a bit of water there in case the brush was dry and hadn't been used. Then I'm going to blend in some of the blue from the blue pen, and I'm just going to mix it around until I'm happy with the shade. Now, the thing that I have learned is because I'm not working on watercolour card, I'm just working on basic card, it takes a little bit more movement, a bit more blending. So starting with the light colour, I tend to find works the best, because then when I notice there's areas that need a bit more colour and a bit more pigment in them, I go back and I pick it back up. So I've kept it nice and light over here, but I'm getting a bit darker as I come to this side. And that's just by reloading the pen, picking up the ink from the ink side rather than mixed with water side. So again, I'm just loading the pen and brushing down the side. So you can start to see, as it dries, you can start to see that blend coming through. So as I hold it, that's how I'm going to want it. So I've got the darkness here and the light there. So you'll start to see it drying now. So the paper's absorbing the water and leaving behind the pigment, and that is where you get the gorgeous shading. So again, if you're not happy with any of the shading, you can go back in with watercolour pens. You can just keep on building and building until you're happy. So I'm just loading a bit more of the colour until I'm 100% happy. Now what I'm going to do on the window there is a really, really wishy-washy colour of blue, because I want it to be almost barely there, as you can see. So I'm just going to go round and round in circles and blend it right out. So there you can see a tiny amount of the pigment, not very much at all. So then what I'm going to come back in and do is go straight on with the blue. So I always brush it onto an acrylic block first, just so that I can make sure that the brush fibres are all together. I find that's a really handy tip, because if sometimes you go straight onto the card and the brush fibres aren't all together, it can ruin your project, because it can be a little bit too spayed out, and then you'll get an odd fibre that brushes somewhere you don't want it to. So again, I'm going back in with a water pen now, and the lighter shade underneath the darker on the bottom. So I'm happy with that. I'm loving the way that's come out. And as I say, I wouldn't say I'm an expert at colouring at all. I'm just someone who practices and enjoys working with watercolour pens and other pens. So for me, these stamps are absolutely fantastic for practicing and doing little techniques with watercolouring. And hopefully you can see that rocket. So that's one done. So I'm going to let him dry there while I come back in with the spaceship. So on this one I was practicing with different colours and things, but I'm going to come back in with the blues on this one. Again, for the top, I'm just going to use a really watered down shade of the blue. So really heavy water, picking up a bit more of it so that it's a really wish-washy colour of blue to give that glass effect. So really wishy-washy blue on the top. And then I'm going to come in with, straight away from here, again I'm just checking that the brush is all together, and I'm going to come in here with the deep blue, and you can just see the strength of the pigment there. And then I'm going to scribble a bit onto there, and I'm going to come in mixing it in with the water just to get a bit more shading coming through. And I'm going to start blending in from this side so that you can see a slight difference in the shade, not too much, just a slight difference to show a little bit of light on that side. And then I'm going to come in from underneath and just do that bit there. And again, I'm using the darker tone this side, brushing it out into the water. And if ever you find that your brush has too much colour or too much water on it, just take a tissue and just squeeze it in and brush it out. And then you can just come in and give it a good blend over the top. So I just want to bring the blend in a little bit more on there. So I'm happy with that one. Now what I would say is, if you have blended a lot of water when you're doing the spaceship, so if I hold that one up, if you have blended quite a bit of water onto it, then before you add the next colour, I would definitely say give it a few minutes just to settle, just so that it absorbs into the paper. So I'm just going to come in again, with my Nuvo here, and I'm just going to highlight with little red dots, again straight from the red pen, so these are going to be nice and strong. And then I'm just going to do a really tiny little brush of the red along here. There we go. So I'm happy with those, and again, really easy, really simple to do, but they're really cute little stamps. So I will show you my rocket and my spaceship, and that's my little Lexi barking in the background. So there we go, there's those two ready. And what I'm going to do next is I am going to bring in the pre-cuts of card that I have done. So instead of using glitter card for this version of the card here, I've actually used a pearlescent card. So I've cut it with the CraftiPotential die around the outside, and then I've done the slider just going up on the side there, and then I've cut the back piece that I'm going to need to put on the back of the rocket on there. Then I've given myself a matte layer of silver mirri, and I've got a card here that was a square, and all I've done is I've just cut an area off so that I can add the stamp there, which I think it works really well, how you've got, when it stands up obviously, you've got that peeking through, and it says flying by to wish you a happy birthday. So I think it works really well with the interactive card there. So to do that, all I've done is got this part here and taken my rocket. Now, as I say, if you want this to be one of the weighted slider cards at this point, then you would need to add in one of the card weights. But all I'm going to do is use a foam dot, and I'm just going to place it in the middle on there. I'm going to hold it behind here, and then I'm going to take the rocket and I'm just going to pop it on there. So hopefully you can see what I've done is make it so that it's then movable. Okay, so that moves across up and down on there, and then I've just put some double-sided foam tape on here. I'm going to take those two bits off, and I'm just going to pop that one on there. Okay, so that one there is then ready for me to use, and I can use my slider to get my rocket to move. So on the back of here, I've just popped some tape. So take the tape off of there, and we'll just pop it onto the card. There we go. So simple as that to get your card moving on there. And then the next stage is obviously adding your stars and your spaceship. So I'm going to take another foam pad and I'm just going to add it onto the back of here. And then I'm just going to pop that one there. And then from my basket of stamps and die cuts, I've actually done some of the stars. So I'm going to take some of the stars from the die set again. So I'm just going to take 3, I think. And then I'm just going to take my glue and pop these on. So again, you can pop these wherever you like, all over the card. You could even use gems, you could use your Nuvo drops, anything just to add a few extra details onto the side. And then what I'm going to do just to finish off is I'm going to take the stamp, the flying by stamp, because I think that one works really well with the rockets. And let's see which stamp. I'll use this one here. So I'm just going to pick that one up, push it down. I'm going to use VersaFine because I do find that VersaFine is a good ink for stamping sentiments. Now if you're not confident with stamping, I would highly recommend getting yourself a stamping platform. CraftStash do have quite a few good platforms, I'm sure, on the website, so take a look through and you'll be able to find a stamping platform on there, and it massively helps with anyone who's not confident with stamping. So I'm just going to stamp that one on there, lift that one up, and there we have it. So what we've got there is an interactive card, fantastic for all sorts of ages, I would say, great for boys and girls, and obviously there's one there that I've done in the glittery effect as well. So 2 really quick and easy cards that you can make with these fantastic stamps from CraftiPotential and the die set as well. Now what I will show you is some of my other samples that I've been making, because I've been having a lot of fun with these. I have done this one here with the aliens that are popping out to say hello. So that beautiful big hello die is fantastic. And again, I've done the same technique to add in the sentiment on the side. I've also done this one here because I loved the scene and I thought that was fantastic. And I've embossed some glittery stars on there as well. And I've done this one, which I love, with googly eyes. And again, just watercolouring the aliens. And then with the other stamp set, I have done this really quick and easy card. And I've cut the H off to do LO because my sons thought it was really cool that you could make an LO die with the glittery card, and thought it would go really well with this happy dinosaur. And I've also used the Rawsome part of one of the stamps. So where it says, have a Rawsome day, all I've done is just taken the Rawsome part and then added in the you are. So, hello, you are awesome. And then I've done this little simple bunny card saying happy birthday as well. So I had lots of fun with these stamps, and hopefully you will too. They should be available now on CraftStash, and if you've got any questions, as always, pop them in the comments. And I hope you enjoy these stamps as much as I did, so happy crafting!